What is up, guys? Welcome to Vintage Genetics, where it is all about, and you know it, classic bodybuilding. And who doesn't like a chest workout? I certainly do. I enjoyed myself during this chest workout a lot because it went really well, especially on the strength side of things. But first of all, I'm showing you the bench press, and you can see, yes, you're not seeing the wrong amount. It's 7 sets. 7 sets of 10 reps on the bench press, and only the last set will be different. But why so many sets? Well, I'm counting every single set right here. So this is already set number 2, and it's still very, very light. So I want to give you insight in how many sets in all, not just working sets, that I do on the bench press. Because a lot of people injure themselves on the bench press. Shoulder injuries, but chest injuries as well, which is very dangerous. So my increments in weight are pretty small. It's 20 kilos each set until I reach my maximum weight, which is around 140 kilos for today. But I will still be able to do quite a lot of reps with that. And then the last set will be different, but you will see that yourself. So what I personally like to do, and what I'm doing right here, is my grip is pretty wide. A lot of people say that a wide grip actually hurts your shoulders, but to me it doesn't. Later on in this video I will show you a very good shoulder stretch to prevent any kind of shoulder injury you can get from the bench press.
A Dutch song in the gym? We're supposed to break records here. It's impossible with this music, man. Just imagine Ronnie Coleman doing a record. 2 reps of 800 pounds on the squat. This music? Not possible. Oh.
Let's do it. So now I arrived at set number 6, and this set is pretty much my maximum load in terms of weight on my chest. I don't like going heavier in the off season that much, especially because I took a small break in between my competitions, and right now, in terms of the amount of weight I do, the amount of volume I do, in order to really recover, because last year was really a tough year in terms of dieting, competitions and stuff like that. So I really need to give my body a break, but I'm starting to build up my strength again, because as you can see, I'm hitting a full set of 140 kilos, which I have not been able to do for a while, but now I have, and yeah, I'm pretty happy about that.
That's how you do it.
But still, I go down slowly, especially on this last set, which is specifically designed to work on the eccentric or negative portion of the movement. Now this is 20 kilos lighter than my maximum weight that I just did. So your maximum weight that you can do 10 reps with, just do 10 to 20% lighter than that, not too much lighter, because you really want a lot of load, a lot of force to press down on you on the negative portion of the range of the motion. Why? Because in the negative motion right here, as you can see, the chest is contracting but lengthening at the same time, and this process damages the muscles the most, and your body will respond to it the most by giving you more muscle ache, but also more muscle growth. And because my upper chest is always going to be a center of attention in terms of my chest workouts, at least until I fix that weak point. You know, you need an upper chest if you want to even compare to Arnold's chest, which is really my goal. But anyway, I'm targeting the upper chest right here. As you can see, I'm sitting kind of awkward, in an awkward position on this machine. Why? Because the seat is at its lowest setting, and that means that my arms will be higher up in relative to the handles, and that means that I target my upper pecs way more than if I would sit higher up. And this causes me to work the upper pecs just like you would do an incline bench press, but the difference here is that the handles actually move to the center as you press the weight, and that allows you to be able to contract the chest. So the main difference between the incline bench press and this plate loaded chest press is, well, you're not in an incline, but literally the position of your body in relative to the handles, relative to where you press the weight, is shifted, and that's why you really use the upper pecs. But watch out, you may use your front delts with this a lot as well, so you really have to have mind-muscle connection in your chest to be able to squeeze your chest independently.
This is what you do when your shoulder hurts during the exercise. You stretch it out and let the blood flow. And when you stretch it like this, it can never injure you because you don't stretch it this far during the exercise. So this is what you should do. And normally you can only go this far, but you have to practice until you go all the way down. And then you can bench press without the pain.
And after we did some basic exercises on proper stretching, we will do the dumbbell flies. The exercise of which Arnold says helped grow his chest the most out of them all. The regular dumbbell flies on a flat bench really mostly serve for a stretch exercise for the chest, but it's the stretch that mostly will bring growth in combination with a good pump, which we already have from the previous two exercises, the bench press and the plate loaded chest press. Right now you feel the stretch right away, and I'm going down as much as I can without feeling the shoulders at all. So that's something to keep in mind when you feel your shoulders hurting or anything on the dumbbell flies. Then you should do the cable flies, because the cable flies are safer in terms of, you know, the amount of weight you do and the range of motion and the time under tension on your chest. But I would recommend you guys doing the flies and having them in your workout program at least once a week, because the flies, the dumbbell flies, are one of the best exercises for getting fullness in the chest, for getting, you know, practicing that mind-muscle connection. And the way that we are doing the flies is that we are really focusing on the stretch right here, but mostly focusing on the time under tension of the chest. You don't want the tension to disappear, so you don't want to go all the way up, because when you do that, you lose the tension on the chest, and then it's a much easier exercise. You always want to make it as hard as possible on yourself. And this will be my last set of flies, and this is a different one. You've probably seen it before, dumbbell flies, but then 3 whole reps that I'm doing right here. So first 3 complete reps, and using the mind-muscle connection to contract the chest at the top, and then, as you can see, 3 stretching reps. And when you do that, you do 3 whole reps again. And this way you really work all the angles and all the negatives, the eccentrics, the concentrics of the movement which really makes it a much more challenging exercise because the weight I'm using is much lower here than my previous set, but because I'm using a different tension, using different angles, it really is much more difficult. And of course, to finish off the chest, now that we really pump the chest up, there's a pump in the chest, the muscles, the muscle fibers are filled with blood, and it's time to stretch these fibers out again with no other exercise than the incline bench press. And to maximize the stretch on your chest, I have a wide grip on this bar, and that causes the stretch to be maximum, and this is exactly how Arnold Schwarzenegger himself did it. And because there's this half natty lighting right here, I'm of course taking advantage of it and seeing what I look like in the off season. To me this is, you know, in terms of off season shape, for me this is ideal. I can still see what I'm training, I can still see what my weak points are, but I'm able to eat plenty enough to grow and recover properly. Alright, this is going to be my last set of chest, and this is a special one because my grip is different here, and the reason why I'm having a different grip is because I want to leave the chest session with a pump. And when you have a closer grip on the bench press, and you can probably see it, you're better able to contract the chest. So the stretch isn't as good, but the contraction definitely is, and it's something different. I usually never do this, but it feels real good. And now it is time to work the triceps, doing the incline skull crushers. If you guys are doing regular skull crushers or laying French presses on the flat bench, you should consider doing the incline version. And I personally don't feel this in my elbows at all. Of course, this is different for everybody, but because of the angle, the difference in angle, I can feel my triceps work even more. It could be due to the fact that I'm not used to this angle, but trying out different angles is always good for maximizing the growth of all the muscle fibers in the given muscle group. And for people who are having trouble keeping the bar straight, it's also very useful because you can actually look in the mirror if you have one there. But you can look in the mirror because of the incline of the bench, the incline angle, and then you can see whether your bar is going straight. And this kind of helps with mind-muscle connection as well, because you see what you're doing while feeling what you're doing. And you don't have this option, this benefit with the regular skull crusher. So if you have trouble with the bar path on this exercise, doing the incline version and looking at yourself in the mirror might help. And you can see right here that I'm going pretty heavy. This is my third set, and after this I have one more set, but I immediately felt that it still felt too light for a third set, so I just decided to do 15 reps instead of the 10 reps that I had in mind beforehand. So don't always stick to the reps that you think, just stick to the reps that are necessary for muscle growth. And the next tricep exercise is going to be a bent over tricep push down. The reason why I'm bent over, because the stretch in the long head of the tricep is better, and it really feels more like a push, like if you would be doing a close grip bench press. And as I mentioned before, you want to work as many angles as possible, so that's why I'm standing upright right here. Now this is a great one that I used to do a lot more back, a few months ago. I'm actually going to start doing this more because it really felt absolutely amazing. But you do this exercise usually as either your second or third exercise, at least after your triceps experience an amazing pump. Why? Well, I preach this a lot to you guys, but when your muscles are pumped up, the stretch will feel that much better. A lot of people have trouble feeling the triceps on exercises like this, but if you do a row push down, a skull crusher, or anything that pumps up your triceps, and then you do this exercise, you will definitely feel your tricep literally stretching out. You will feel the muscle being present there. You will feel the muscle work, and that's how you learn how to control and use that muscle during the exercise, and that will be beneficial to you during a lot more exercises. And then we finish off with machine side lateral raises. I normally do first chest and then a side dumbbell lateral raise, or a lateral raise of a machine, doesn't matter what, but I do it in between chest and triceps. But I decided to do this later. I decided to shift this and do the side laterals after the triceps, because in my opinion triceps, for me personally, are more important to build than the side delts, because they're more of a weak point. And as you probably, hopefully can see, my triceps have improved just a little bit compared to how they were like 6 months ago. And that's because I kept prioritizing them, kept doing the right exercises, the long head exercises, and really focusing on my triceps rather than, for example, doing side delts first. But anyway guys, this was the entire workout. A lot more is in the works. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching, and don't forget to stay golden.